Okay. I hope everyone can see my screen. Can you all see my screen, Bante?
Yes, Bante. Yes, Bante.
Okay. So the topic that I have selected for this talk is, as you already know, significance of Buddhist counseling psychology. Now, why I actually selected this topic is because there's a great interest among undergraduates as well as among scholars towards counseling psychology. At the same time, there's a great interest in developing a subject or subject area called Buddhist counseling psychology, where you have Buddhist principles plus Western counseling psychology. So actually I'm more into counseling psychology because I have studied Buddhist counseling psychology, because I have followed a diploma in Buddhist counseling psychology. So I'm so much into this counseling psychology, and I do certain studies also. So in today's discussion, I am going to look at counseling psychology and Buddhist counseling psychology, and main focuses of Buddhist counseling psychology and the Western counseling psychology, and types of treatments and methods in Buddhist perspective, because I'm going to highlight the significance of Buddhist counseling psychology through the type of treatments and methods in Buddhist perspective, and concluding remarks. And of course, at the end, you all may have questions, some concerns. So I'm more than happy to, answer your questions, right? So basically, the objective of the discussion is to distinguish or to show the significance of Buddhist counseling psychology. So I hope that this lecture will help you, will enlighten your knowledge, and will open more perspectives, more ideas into different discussions, right? So let me start with this introduction. What is counseling psychology? Now, as you can see on your screen, counseling psychology focuses on providing therapeutic treatments to clients who experience a wide variety of symptoms. Now, we have to understand that here in counseling psychology, what is expected to be done is to help the clients, help the people who are suffering from different kind of mental problems. We call them, we don't say mental problems, we call them mental disorders, right? So there are many people who suffer from mental disorders. So counseling psychology is a kind of therapeutic treatments. That means some treatments given to advance, given to come over some certain difficulties in terms of your mentality, mental problems. And further, it allows the client to gain an understanding of himself or herself to a degree which enables him to or her to take positive in the light of his new orientation. Now, this is really important. Counseling psychology not only helps the particular person who is suffering from certain mental disorders to overcome that situation, but also it guides you to look at new perspective, new orientations of your life. For example, if I elaborate it a bit more, let's say I am suffering from kind of stress, right? So Western counseling psychology, tries to, help you overcome that situation. At the same time, that makes effort to introduce or to bring more solutions or more approaches for me to go higher and higher, go forward and improve myself, right? And again, if you look at Buddhist counseling psychology, Buddhist counseling psychology is a kind of practical study and process of raising the potential. Potential means capability, capacity or abilities of the individual to resolve psychological problems. That means, mental problem, mental disorders and problems caused by expected or unexpected life events, which happen in our life. And of course, to develop personality and to prevent mental imbalances and provide psychological treatments when necessary, right? So when it comes to Buddhist counseling psychology, mainly focuses on, problem or, prevention of mental disorders or problems, because according to counseling psychology, Buddhist counseling psychology, it is not that good to provide solutions once something has happened. Rather, it is better to prevent before something happens, right? And again, in the teachings, all issues are seen as functions of human conditions. Now, according to Buddhist counseling psychology, all problems or whatever the phenomena or circumstances that occur or that happen in our life are functions or activities or actions of humans, right? And can be addressed through traditional methods and practices. So this is really important. Now these methods and practices that people actually follow or people actually adhere to can be different from country to country. For example, in Sri Lanka, there can be different cultural methods and practices. And when it comes to Vietnam also, you may understand, you may see different activities or different methods and practices that are followed by different people, right? So we will look at certain activities. Actually, in this lesson, I will be highlighting some methods and practices that we actually follow to help the people who suffer from different mental disorders or ups and downs in their life, especially downs. So actually, when it comes to counseling psychology, this is a reference to one of the suttas, discourses in Samyutta Nikaya, right, which is the third collection of discourses in Suttanta Pitaka, the basket of discourses. And in this sutta, the Buddha addresses a particular person, and Buddha says, Abhirama tis abhirama. Now, this is in Pali. I know that most of you are familiar with Pali terms and all. Ahang ovadena, ahang anuggahena, ahang anusasaniyati. What does this say? Buddha says, rejoice, this rejoice. So be happy. Be happy. And I'm here to counsel. I'm here to assist. And I'm here to instruct. Right? So we know that even in the counseling psychology, it's not all about, giving different pieces of advice to people to overcome their, situations. It is all about, providing some sort of insight, some sort of understanding of what the problem is and what are the causes that have led to the problem that the particular person has, right? So like that, so we have different references to different sutta, different, occasions, which actually the Buddha has given, certain instructions certain pieces of advice that I am here, be happy in your life and lead a happy life, and I am here to instruct you, I'm here to assist you, and I am here to counsel you, right? I hope that with this is a kind of reference where there is some sort of counseling psychology in the teachings of the Buddha. Now someone is using a pencil or pen to draw certain things on the screen. I think you better not do so, because it can some sort of hindrance for us. Now I'm here going to look at some sort of comparison, some sort of differences. Now you can see, when we talk about Western and Buddhist counseling psychology, especially when we look at Western counseling psychology. Now, Western counseling psychology focuses on psychosocial issues. That means the mental and social problems that people actually experience in their life. So, Western counseling psychology tries to provide some sort of insight, some sort of methods and solutions to psychosocial problems in the society. And it focuses to solve specific problems, right? So there can be certain problems, and in the counseling psychology, Western counseling psychology, so an attempt is made to solve specific problems that the people actually have. And it develops and it looks at culturally conditioned mind, because our mind is culturally conditioned, right? So and of course, when the solutions or the reliefs or some treatments are given, cultural conditioned things are considered. And intellectual understanding, you need some sort of intellectual understanding to counsel someone. And psychological adjustment. Now when someone undergoes counseling, right, so some sort of psychological adjustments are expected. And of course, if you want to do counseling to a particular person, you need some sort of therapist knowledge. There should be someone who knows the subject, right? And there is sort of verbal dialogue between the counselor and the client, the person who gets counseling from qualified counselor, right? So when we look at the focus of Western counseling psychology, now we can easily see that this is some sort of objective oriented, maybe a secular kind of object oriented. But when we look at the Buddhist counseling psychology, now Buddhist counseling psychology basically focuses on spiritual and existential issues. Spiritual means the issues that we have with our mind or our inner qualities, right? Inner abilities. And existential issues means the problems that we have in general among people, maybe between you and your partner, maybe between you and your friend, right, among people. And most of the time, Western Buddhist counseling psychology makes attempts to improve the quality of life. That's why so much of different types of teachings are explained and ask you to follow. Then Buddhist counseling psychology, we know that Buddhism is all about purifying your mind and developing your mind. So develop mind is also another focus of Buddhist counseling psychology. And transformation of consciousness. Now, this is really, really important. What is the transformation of consciousness? Transformation of consciousness is to transfer our mindset, transfer our way of understanding things, our way of looking at things, our way of grasping things in the understanding of the Buddha's teaching, in the Buddhist teaching. For example, if we look at the teachings that have been, delivered, presented by the Buddha, most of the teachers, not most of the teachers, almost all the teachers, help us transform our consciousness. And again, Buddhist counseling psychology is a liberation psychology. It helps us, it can, lead us towards the liberation of, defilements and mental disorders, so many problems, right? Access to a personal inner wisdom. And again, if you have the exposure to, Buddhist counseling psychology, that helps you to access your inner wisdom, right? To see within yourself, to go through your, understanding, right? And again, the most important thing in Buddhist counseling psychology that you have this silent vipassana meditation, silent insight meditation that helps you, scrutinize yourself, scrutinize your mental, capacities, mental, weaknesses, maybe the strengths that you have, right? So we have silent, vipassana insight meditation for us to, scan ourselves, observe ourselves, to go through our mindset. So I hope that with this, you all, may have some sort of understanding about Western and Buddhist counseling psychology. And again, if we look at Western counseling psychology again, so according to explanations or given in different counseling psychology, writings. So Western counseling psychology focuses on developmental issues, resolving problems, making decisions and coping with crisis, developing personal insight and knowledge, and working through feelings of inner conflict and improving relationship with others. So these are the focuses that we have when we study, Western counseling psychology. And again, another reference that we have is Satipatthana Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya. I hope that all of you may have read this, maybe in your language, maybe in English, maybe in Pali. Now, when we look at the starting pace of this sutta, of course, in the Satipatthana Sutta, it focuses on the 4 establishment of mindfulness. Now, in this sutta, we have some understanding. We can understand what is actually all about this, what is this Buddhist counseling psychology is all about, right? So as the sutta itself says, Sattanang Visuddhiya, Soka Paridevanang Samatikkamaya, Dukkha Domanassang Attangamaya, Jnanassa Adhigamaya, Nibbanassa Satchikiriyaya. Now, the 4 establishment of mindfulness. Now, because here we discuss it is silent vipassana meditation, right? So if we try to elaborate what this silent vipassana meditation basically means, so we have the meaning here. It focuses on purification of beings, right? What is the meaning of purification of beings? It helps us to purify ourselves, right? Our defilements, our mental, concomitants that we have, right? And overcoming of sorrow and lamentation. Of course, when we lead our life, we have to undergo sorrow, lamentation, pain, despair, and physical and mental suffering, so much of, suffering we have to undergo, right? So the sutta itself says overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, destruction of physical and mental suffering, and reaching the right realization, jnanas adhigamaya. Now, above all of these, we have very important point. That is the last one, which is attaining the nibbana. Nibbanasa satchikiriyaya. Now, this is the peak point, the climax of Buddhist counsel in psychology, right? The peak point, because counsel in psychology, Western counsel in psychology, being a secular subject, talks about secular things, how people can overcome their problems, day-to-day problems, social problems, how they can improve their knowledge, how they can, have psychological adjustments in their, life. But in Buddhist counsel in psychology, of course, Buddhist counsel in psychology also focuses on those things, worldly things. Most importantly, in the Buddhist counsel in psychology, we have this, perfect attainment of nibbana, which is the supreme bliss of all the people who actually follow the teachings of the Buddha. So this is very important, and with that we can discuss the focus of Buddhist counsel in psychology in two different topics, two different headings, right? The focus or the objective of Buddhist counsel in psychology is to prevent conflicts, problems, issues, maybe mental or physical, to prevent. Okay, remember that, prevent, not resolve, not solve after something has happened. Buddhist counsel in psychology helps us prevent conflicts and developing the person and the personality. That is very important, because we know, according to our teachings, you have only yourself. So you have to develop you as a person, and you need to develop your personality, right? And of course, again, treatments to mental disorders and problems. That is, of course, elaborated in the teachings. And most importantly, now these four, if you look at these points, these are worldly things that we can achieve in this life, right? And you needn't be a Buddhist. You needn't be a Buddhist to have them. But if you look at the last one, this is not worldly thing. This directly addresses our spirituality, right? This directly addresses our mindset. So leading the followers on the path towards the Nibbana, right? What is Nibbana? Now, in simple understanding, Nibbana is the salvation. Nibbana is the highest bliss. So at the destruction of all, desires, at the destruction of all ill will, and at the destruction of all the delusions that you have in your mind. So we are able to, experience the ultimate bliss of Nibbana. Now, this is the most important point that we can, understand, we can see in Buddhist counsel in psychology. So let me elaborate more and more regarding, what I want to discuss with you all here today. Now, when we look at the significance of Buddhist counsel in psychology, now we can simply understand that Buddhist counsel in psychology is based on broad perspective towards the person. Okay, this is only one point. Now, if we try to understand who the person is, right? We can't just say a person is someone who comes into this life and who, lives the life for a particular, time, maybe 50 years or 70 years, and then he dies. That is not the explanation in the teachings, right? The teaching says the body decays, but the name remains. Of course, we come into this life. It's not something spontaneous. It has different causes behind us, right? Basically, we have the concept of karma, right? So man is explained, man is elaborated as a combination of Nam and Rupa, right? Simply, Nam is something that is related to our spirituality. In simple words, we can say Nam is our karma, right? In simple words, we can say Nam is our karma. But Rupa is our body, right? Rupa is our body. What happens to our body? Our body decays, right? Our body decays with the passing of this time. You know, we come into this world as an infant from the mother's womb. When the time passes, we become a child, we become a baby, we become a child, we become a teenager, and we become an adult. We become, 30, 40, or 50, 60 years old. We have different names. Samanera, novice, right? When you become a monk, first you are a Samanera. Then you become kind of senior monk. What happens? This is aging. You are subject to aging, right? So ultimately, at the end, we have to lose this life. We have to leave this patham-long body. So does it mean that everything ends there? No, right? It doesn't mean that everything ends there. That's why in Buddhist counsel in psychology, we have a broad perspective towards the person. We have this combination of name and form, right? Name and form, nama and rupa. And in the teachings, even in Buddhist counsel in psychology, it is explained man is a continuous being, right? You continue to live even after death, right? You are born again. And for that process, effect of kusala and akusala, wholesome things and unwholesome things affect. And there's an influence of this, kusala and akusala, wholesome and unwholesome things. An effect of karma, how you live, how well you live, how bad you live. If you live as a bad person, you accumulate bad karmas. If you live as a good person, you accumulate good karmas. And all of these, above all of these, we have the all-important mind. Mind is nothing but this nama, right? That's why if you look at the teachings of the Buddha, what is the advice given by the Buddha? According to our teaching, our understanding, it says not to commit any evil, right? Sabba papa sakarana, not to commit any evil. That means to restrain, that means to control your words and bodily actions, verbal actions and physical actions, right? Then again it says to develop wholesome things. How can we develop wholesome things? We have to develop, compassion, loving kindness, appreciative joy, equanimity. So we have metta, karuna, mudita, upekka, like that. There are so many, different helpful, supportive teachings given by the Buddha, right? So this mind is very, very important. That's why Buddha says, develop your mind. Sachitta pariyodapana. Purify your mind, right? Purify your mind. So since it becomes just a talk, because I am the only one who is talking here, I hope that this video can give you some kind of difference, some energy, right? So let's watch this. I hope you all can hear the sound also. I hope you all can understand the message given in this very small video clip, right? To develop our mind, to understand our mind is to understand our nature, right? What is the nature of human beings? As the video itself says, it's a simple message. The monk who was stung by this scorpion, he still continues to save it, right? Can you imagine this happens to us? Can you imagine? We might not do the same, right? But sting to sting, it's scorpion's nature. What is our nature? Our nature is to help people, right? Sometimes when we help people, we get scolded, we get criticized. But don't stop doing so, right? Because it's our nature to help people, to support people. And that is what the teaching itself says. Priority should be given to our mind, and take care of your mind very well, right? If your mind is not healthy, your body will automatically become unhealthy, right? Okay, again, if you look at the significance of Buddhist counsel in psychology, Buddhist counsel in psychology promotes and emphasizes mental and physical health, right? It focuses mental and physical health. Now, if you can, I don't know whether you know this, in Dhammapada, one of the books in Khuddaka Nikaya, there's a beautiful stanza which talks about 4 kinds of wealth that a particular person should have. I don't know, maybe you know this. I can remember that in Pali. Arogya Paramalabha Santutti Paramang Dhanam Vissasa Paramanyati Nibbhanang Paramang Sukha. Now, since Buddhist counsel in psychology promotes mental and physical health, and of course contentment and social coexistence, now this small stanza elaborates this aspect very well. Now, what is Arogya Paramalabha? Arogya is the physical healthiness, right? Physical healthiness. Now, we need to maintain our physical healthiness. That's why even in Vinaya, how we should have our food, right? How we should have our food has been explained. Why we should take food and how we should take food, why we should contemplate on food, right? Now, with those things, actually, we can have, physical health, which is the first health, arogya. What is the second one? Santutti paramangdana. What is santutti? Contentment, happiness in the mind. Contentment or happiness, paramang danang. Danang means wealth. You can't value your wealth, right? Contentment is a wealth that you can have in your life, and you can't value it. Even though you have money, can you buy, contentment? Can you buy happiness? No. However rich you are, You can't buy happiness. You can't buy contentment. That's why the teaching itself says, Santutti Paramangdana. And the third thing, what is the third one? Third one is Vissasa Paramanyati. What is Vissasa? Vissasa is the identity that you develop in the society. The identity that you have among other members, maybe in the community, maybe in your order, maybe in your class, maybe in your temple, the identity that you have. What happens? If you are a hot-tempered person, you always get angry. Then people give the identity, oh, don't play with him. He always gets angry. She always gets angry. And you always cheat people. What is the identity that you get? Oh, don't believe him or her. He's a cheater, right? You always let people down. People will say, oh, don't believe. Don't try to help him. Don't try to talk to that person. He will let you down. He has done that to many people. So that is the identity. Social health. So if you are a nice person, if you are a kind person, if you are a helpful person, you get a better identity. People say, oh, he's very nice. Please go and talk to him, right? He will give you the right answer for this problem. That is the social health. How you maintain, conducts, have relationships with others in the society. Maybe your master, maybe with your friends, maybe with your colleagues, maybe with your family members, the relationships that you maintain. Now, for this, actually, I have not quoted that here. Singalo was the advice given to Singala, right? Which is available in Digha Nikaya, is a fine example. And the last one, Nibbānang Paramang Sukha, right? Enlightenment, or getting freed, or getting free from all these defilements. Nibbana is the Paramang Sukha, is the ultimate happiness according to the teachings of the Buddha, right? Now remember, all these are our mind oriented. Maybe physical, mental, social, and spiritual. All these happinesses, or all these health is our mind oriented. Remember that. And remember, Buddhist counseling psychology promotes this and emphasizes the importance of all these. And again, if you look at Buddhist counseling psychology, has given emphasis on educating the true nature of life instead of changing the nature, right? Educating the true nature of life instead of changing the nature. What is the true nature of this life? Which is the second point, right? The true nature of this life is dukkha. What is dukkha? Dukkha means, oh, we have so many examples, right? Birth is dukkha, getting old is dukkha, subject to diseases, illnesses is dukkha, and getting departed from our dear ones, uniting, being with unpleasant people that we don't like, and sometimes we don't get what we wish for. Right? Bante, can you hear me? Bante, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. So, Bante, with this teaching, basically the teachings of dukkha, right? The teaching of dukkha is very important for everyone because it teaches us the true nature of life, right? Everyone who is born is subject to dukkha. Dukkha is not sadness. Dukkha is not, physical pain. It includes everything, even happiness, right? For example, if someone wants to have something, he works hard, works hard, again works hard, somehow he achieves it. So does it mean that particular person becomes happy forever? No, that also changes, right? That also changes. So with certain teachings in the teachings of the Buddha, especially, it educates the true nature of life. For example, if you take 8 world vicissitudes, what are 8 world vicissitudes? Maybe happiness, sadness, profit and loss, fame and defame, right? Then gain and loss. There are 8 points, 8 world vicissitudes. What do they teach? They teach us that if you are born, if you lead a life, if you are living this society, you have to face this and you can't avoid them. So that transforms our mind. That helps us understand the true nature, right? And again, dependent co-origination, which is Paticcasamuppada. So what does it teach in Paticcasamuppada? The conditionality, right? Because of this thing, this happened. So Buddhism, Buddhist counsel in psychology, encourages us rather than finding solutions after something has happened. It, reminds us to, control ourselves, right? Because after something has happened, however much you try, sometimes we can't undo them. We can't undo. We can default them. We can't go to the previous mode once something has happened. Sometimes I wish we had this undo button in our life, which we have in computer. We have undo button. We can go to the, default mode again. But in life, once something has done, we can't undo it, right? And the 3 characteristics of existence, anicca, dukkha, anatta, right? They also teach us. They also, tell us the true nature of life. We are subject to dukkha. We are subject to impermanence. We are subject to non-self, right? And again, interdependence, that this thing depend on this thing. Maybe our happiness, maybe our, sadnesses or suffering, they are interdependent. Okay, so that is very important point explained in the teachings or in Buddhist counsel in psychology. And again, it explains in deeper level, deeper grounds, that causes for different mental disorders or abnormal behaviors are within, right? So basically the 3 unwholesome roots, lobha, dosa, moha, greed, ill will, and delusion. So according to Buddhist counsel in psychology, these are the 3 main evil roots that we have to understand. Again, the 5 hindrances and the defilements that we have: sensual desire, kamachanda, anger, ill will, sloth and torpor, and restlessness and worry. So these 5 hindrances are the barriers that we have in our mind. Because of these, we can't see the reality. So Buddhism says, the Buddhist counsel in psychology also emphasizes that if you want to see the reality, if you want to understand yourself, try to remove them, right? So again, we have another beautiful video. You may have watched this. Let's watch it again, okay? So see this and try to understand the message. Sorry.
Excuse me, Venerable. I can hear.
Sorry,
I can
Bante?
volume. I can hear volume in video.
You can't hear it. Okay, let me check it again. I'm sorry, I thought you all can hear.
Now,
Okay, can you hear now?
they saw a woman crying. The elder monk asked,
Can you hear now?
Yes, I can hear.
"Woman, what in this world make you to cry?" The woman replied, sobbing, "Morning I came across this river to get some food to my home, which is on the other bank. Morning there was not this water flowing. Now, when I'm returning, there is heavy flow in the water and I don't know to swim. I don't know how will I return home. It is late too." Woman didn't stop crying. The elder monk felt pity on her and said, "Woman, I will help you to get across the river and leave you on the other bank." The elder monk carried the lady across the river. The other younger monk followed him quietly. 3 of them reached the other bank, and the elder monk left the woman there. She gratefully thanked him. Both of the monks continued their journey. The younger monk walked with a strong discontent in his face. They walked silently. After a while, breaking the silence, the younger monk asked, "Master, we are monks. We should not even touch a woman. But you lifted her and carried her across the river. What a kind of monk are you?" The elder calmly understood the younger one and questioned, "Brother, I left that burden as soon as I reached the other bank. But why do you carry that still?" The younger monk understood exactly what is harmful.
So I hope everyone can understand the message given in the video, right? So sometimes it's holding on to things. Maybe something happened in the past, right? Maybe something that you expect to happen in the future. So you may be worried about your past, right? You may be worrying what will happen in the future. So this burden lies within us, right? Sometimes the burden is nowhere in our mind. So therefore, the advice we have is to give up them, is to abandon them, and to live at the present moment. And another most important aspect of Buddhist counseling psychology is that the 3-step treatment that we have in the teachings, and which is elaborated in Buddhist counseling psychology, right? So the 3-step treatment is that Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, the ethical conduct, Samadhi, mental development, and Panya, mental purification. So which actually is the 8 Noble Fold Path, which helps us to lead a very successful and others friendly, society friendly, a noble way of living, right? So basically, if you look at, if you try to understand one by one, so you can see here in the teachings, in the Buddhist counseling psychology, it elaborates, it illustrates gradual application. Tadanga pahana, Vikkambana pahana, Samucceda pahana. Sometimes we have to follow certain methods, certain techniques for a temporal removal of defilements. Sometimes Vikkambana pahana, we have to suppress certain things. And of course, most importantly, Samucceda pahana, we destroy them, we root them out from our mind. So that gradual explanation, gradual application has been elaborated in counseling psychology. And again, treatments according to the temperaments of the person, right? Because people are different, so are their perceptions. So it is very important for us to understand what sort of person I am. Am I a greedy person? Am I a hating person? Am I a deluded person? Am I a faithful person? Am I intelligent or am I speculative? So it is very important for anyone to understand the temperament, what kind of person you are, right? And that is also emphasized. And how can we understand the temperaments of a person? Let's say you are a counselor, you are going to treat a person who needs counseling, and you are going to apply certain Buddhist counseling psychology approaches in that process. So we have to observe the behaviors of that particular person, and the activities and the food that he likes or she likes, and appearance, and the knowledge of Dhamma, the spiritual conduct. So with that, we can have some sort of idea about the temperament of that particular person, right? So in the 3-step verification, if you take the first one, sila is morality or ethical conduct, good conduct. Now it prevents, when you practice sila, it prevents vitikam. Vitikam means transgression or going beyond. Sometimes we don't have the control over our verbal and physical activities. Now, if a person, practices sila, constant sila, day-to-day sila, that prevents you from become a rude person, becoming, unhealthy, a person who is rejected by the others. So when you don't have ethical conduct, try to practice it. Try to have good behavior, try to have virtuous conduct. If you do not have, you end up being a person who has misconducts, bad behaviors, and wicked conducts, right? And again, we have the second step, samadhi treatment. Samadhi is concentration, one-pointedness, and mental composure in the mind. And it prevents the pariyuttana. Pariyuttana is the outburst or pre-possession of, defilements in the mind. It's like the sleeping mode of our laptop. So whenever you touch the button, it opens up, it comes up, right? So when you have unwholesome thoughts in your mind, bad thoughts, wicked thoughts in your mind, understand that you have unwholesome thoughts, bad thoughts in your mind. Instead, develop wholesome thoughts, good thoughts, and virtuous intentions in your mind. And the last one, Panya treatment. Panya is wisdom, insight. So it prevents you from anusaya. Anusayas are the dormant dispositions, the sleeping, defilements in our mind. It's like, fire under ash, right? So when you have fire and under ash, at any point of time, it can burn you. Right? So like that, I think I have included some more information regarding types of treatments and methods, cognitive treatments, like they are known as philosophical, treatments, behavioral treatments, they are known as cultural treatments. So I think since the time is up now, I will, go back to my, concluding. Right, so we have some cultural treatments here. We have different offerings that are done to the Bodhi tree, then Pirit chanting, Parit chanting sessions, alms giving, meditation, Jataka recitals, transferring merits, Jivadana, like, you offer certain, alms giving to monks, nuns, then Dhamma preaching. So these are culturally, important religious rituals and practices, right? And if I conclude the presentation, the talk that I was I'm doing now, Buddhist counseling psychology aims at creating a fully functioning person. That is the most important thing. If you want to be a successful person in this life, you should be a fully functioning person, and that is highlighted in Buddhist counseling psychology. It's a blender of philosophical and cultural teachings and practices. Buddhist counseling psychology is a blender, right, of cultural teachings and practices, and is different from Western counseling psychology, as its prime objective is to attain Nibbana, which is the permanent solution for all the temporary problems associated with life. Aims at understanding dukkha associated with life and thereby provide solutions to mental disorders, promoting peace in mind. As it promotes peace in mind, it is considered a psychotherapy, right? A therapy, a treatment given to your mind. Based on a broad perspective, it discusses mental and physical well-being, and ultimately, it is Nibbana oriented. So let me conclude this with this great words delivered by the Buddha. The word is led around by mind. By mind, it is dragged here and there. Mind is the only one thing that has all under its control. So you all can watch this video again. This is also a very small video clip which gives a huge message. And with that, we can go to questions, maybe a discussion session. Okay.
Two students were standing in the temple grounds, arguing about a flag that was flapping wildly in the strong winds. "It's the wind that is really moving," stated the first one. "No, it is the flag that moves," argued the second. A Zen master, who happened to be walking by, overheard the debate and interrupted them. "Neither the flag nor the wind is moving," he said. "It is the mind that moves." Our entire life experience is a creation of the mind, which is why, when two people are faced with the exact same event, they may see them very differently.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's all. Actually, I was unable to complete everything, but still I hope this gives you some sort of idea about what I wanted to share with you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Venerable Pagngnaloka, for enlightening us the wonderful topic today, the significance of Buddhist counseling psychology. We have got a lot of knowledge and useful information that you have given our club members through your presentation. I believe that all participants and members here have understood clearly and fully past prominent feature of the significance of Buddhist counseling psychology, and I'm really close the Buddhist counseling psychology, educating the true nature of life instead of changing the nature. Once again, thank you, Venerable Pagngnaloka. Now it's time for us to come to Q&A session. Anyone who wants to ask our chief guest, kindly open your mic and feel free to ask. Don't hesitate or question warmly in this session. Now I would like to invite Thammasita Thammasita Harman. Over smile to you.
Good afternoon, Bante. I have a question
Yes.
for you.
Yeah.
How can we advise depressed people to overcome their fears?
Okay, how can we advise depressed people to overcome their fears? Now, this is something actually complicated. Thank you very much for your question, because if someone is depressed, you know, they are not able to understand, you know, certain things that we actually explain, right? Because they are depressed. So one thing that we can do is make them realized the situation that they have. For example, if someone is under stress, there can be reasons, there can be causes, right? Why they are under stress, why they are under, you know, depression. So try to, you know, show the reasons, try to, you know, console that person, try to make that person understand what has put that particular person into that situation, right? Because as I told you, people can be under depressed or depression or stress, whatever it is. They can be like that because of they are thinking about their past, or maybe thinking about their future. Maybe they have lost something, right? So we have to make them realized that it is not the end of life, right? We can start, maybe something has gone wrong, maybe something that particular person wanted has not come to that particular person. So make that particular person understand the real situation. I hope, yeah, that is my answer for that. I hope you understand that.